Happy Friday and welcome to the Wolff Den presented by Win Again Academy. I am Matt Wolff, founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. Win Again Academy, Mark Moore doing some great things with his networking and information events. We got Tamir Goodman, the Jewish Jordan, on Tuesday. Check out winagainacademy.com. Got a very special guest today. Keagan Brown is joining us today. Keagan, welcome to the Wolff Den.
Thanks for having me, man.
So tell everybody who you are and why you're here to start.
So my name is Keagan Brown. I'm a professional motorcycle racer. I've been doing it for about 8 years now, and this year I'm going pro with MotoAmerica. So hope to go out and do my best in the first year. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So the reason why you're not professional yet is because you're only 13. So
yeah.
That's an important part of the story here. Crazy that you've been doing it for so long. And I don't know if your dad mentioned this to you, but we could tell everyone that Sunday is a very special day for you. And why is that?
So Sunday is my birthday, which is a special day anyway, but it's a really special day because then I'll be turning 14, and that'll be the age limit for MotoAmerica where I can officially start being pro and racing in the premier class for the U.S. So it's really exciting. I won't be able to race here in Atlanta this weekend because there's a lot of technical stuff that happens behind the scenes. So I'm not going to be racing this weekend, but I'm going to be racing at VIR, and I'm training really hard to get there and hopefully put a hurt on the field.
Yeah, and Sunday is a very special day for Ticket Time Machine, because Sunday is also my birthday. Your dad told you that. And I have a twin brother in the other room, so he's down here actually for the weekend. My birthday is on Sunday too, May 2nd, so great day. And I'm quite a bit older though. We won't tell everyone how old I am. I think they probably already know. So is there any logic behind the age 14? It's kind of a weird age.
To be honest, I don't really know why they chose 14. Personally, I know a lot of kids, and I felt like I could have gone pro from probably about 10. I mean, a lot of those kids have been working really hard for a really long time. But I think 14 is kind of, I guess, a maturity age and an experience kind of turning point for people. I'm not sure. I'm not 14 yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know, honestly, why they chose 14, but it is what it is, I guess. So I don't know.
It's weird to be turning that like literally a day because and we'll get you to tell everybody more about MotoAmerica and what you're actually doing. But this is the opening weekend, correct?
Yeah, this is the first round of MotoAmerica.
Yeah, and so what is MotoAmerica?
So MotoAmerica is the premier racing class in the U.S. So like over in other countries, there's pretty much any other country, there's MotoGP, which is the top racing class. You know, those bikes are built from the ground up. People from all over the world come in to race that series. And then there's a smaller series than that called World Superbike. And that's also, almost one of the best, racing series. And there's nothing really like that here in the U.S. anymore. MotoGP still comes over to the U.S., but not like they used to. So we pretty much had to start our own thing. And they've been doing it for a long time, but MotoAmerica, the actual company, is pretty new in the big scheme of things. And so it's grown to be pretty much the World Superbike of the U.S. And it's awesome. There's a lot of people that have come up through MotoAmerica that have gone on to do MotoGP and even World Superbike. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And these are motorbikes, right? I mean, this is
yes, yeah. So MotoAmerica has, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes. I may be wrong, but so they have Junior Cup bikes, which is what I'm racing. It's a 400cc and 300cc Kawasaki and Yamahas, and even KTM this year. And then it goes up to Twins class, which is 650cc motorcycles, and then 600cc, and then 1000, which is the biggest and baddest out there.
but you're on pavement, right? These aren't dirt bikes.
Yeah. This is same tracks that you'd see like the road courses for NASCAR. Same kind of tracks as that, just with bikes.
And it's racing, like an actual race. So, but it's straight racing. I say this because we want to educate the audience here. Most of the motorbike stuff that I know and have seen is X Games type stuff, which is like tricks and all that crazy stuff. Do you do any of that stuff, or you're just purely racing?
We're just purely racing. I mean, I can't say that I haven't messed around in my yard and done tricks and stuff, but yeah. So the average race for Junior Cup is about 10 laps, and you're gridded based on a qualifying time. So if you have the fastest lap, you're in first place, and so on. And it's just 8 to 14 laps of giving it all, and then whoever wins. Whoever gets second and third. And of course, there's a point set up because there's 8 rounds, so 16 races in all, because 2 races for each round. I don't know how the points really work since it's my first year, but yeah.
What? So this is actually you're racing against yourself. Not on the track at the same time.
Yeah, we're all on the track at the same time.
Oh, you are? Okay. I thought you were saying that it was just race. So that's got the same. Talk about your hat here. It's a dangerous sport.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people get hurt, but and that's actually a really interesting topic because when I was a lot younger, my dad started a company to help kids get into racing and get into riding, especially because so little people ride motorcycles and especially race them. So we started that to help kids get into racing and riding, and all the parents would freak out like their kid was going to catch on fire or something. And they're like, there's so many accidents on the road with motorcycles each year. And people don't understand, on a racetrack, everyone's going the same way. The pavement is special, and, it's the grippiest out there. Everyone's wearing gear. It's so much safer than people realize. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still, 160 miles per hour and a bunch of people on a track. So there's definitely things that can go wrong, but it's so much safer than people realize. And we always had fun conversations with that, because you'd be surprised how many people just wouldn't let their kids touch a motorcycle because they're afraid that they're going to catch on fire or something.
I mean, I can understand it's dangerous. There's other things, certainly from a younger age. Obviously, as you get older, you let your kids do a little bit more. But aside from the speed, 160 is fairly fast. You're also, and I posted some pictures. I mean, when you have to take those turns and you're an inch off the ground. I mean, it's almost very similar to when we watch speed skating at the Olympics, and they're turning that corner and they're like right down there. Anything can happen. So another element of danger there, right?
Yeah, we get about 45 to 60 degrees of lean angle. So I mean, we're dragging elbow. It's crazy.
And what's your gear? What are you wearing? Elbow pads, knee pads, helmet, obviously.
So usually we have custom suits made. Custom just means colors and stuff. But so most of the professional suits are kangaroo and stingray leather. And of course in there you have like pads and stuff. And on the outside you have like skid plates and stuff on your shoulders. And we have special like really hard plastic pucks. We call them pucks on our elbows and knees, so we can drag our elbows and stuff, because a lot of people think that we go out there and we drag elbow and we drag knee to show off and be cool. But really it's an indicator of where the ground is versus where your bike is, because if you go too far, you're going to end up in the gravel. And most of the time you don't want to be there.
All the time. Yeah. How hot is the suit? Is it like driving a car where they're, pretty?
It definitely can get really hot in those suits, but we put all of our work into the best gear. I ride Bison Track, which is the best out there, and all of that is perforated, so we got like vents and stuff on our shoulders that can move air, but at the end of the day, it's still going to get pretty hot in those suits.
And how long roughly does it take you to go the 10 laps?
Well, I know from start to end, it's about 30 minutes, depending on each track. Like that's a pretty wide
Yeah.
um, span of time. But yeah, I'd say for about 20 to 30 minutes. And that's not like the whole race. Like you have to wait in the pits, go out, do the signing lap, and come back and all that stuff. So yeah,
So you're
it's pretty fair amount of time.
well. Let's talk about how you got into this. I mean, obviously, you've been doing it since you were young. It sounds like your dad had a little bit of racing in him, but how did it start?
Yeah, so when I was in about second grade, I think I was struggling a little bit in school. My whole family is ADHD is crap, so I was just struggling with paying attention and especially talking to people. Like I could not talk to anyone. I would bury my face in my dad if someone came up and tried to talk to me. So my dad been in the motorcycle industry for about 20 years. Of course, back then it would have been a little bit shorter, but he had the idea to buy a kind of beater little bike, and what he wanted me to read through the manual and kind of do all the smaller math and reading things to fix that bike up, and I could go out and ride it and have fun. And so I mean, we did that. I had a great time fixing that little bike up, and then eventually he started taking me to a track near my house called VIR, which is actually the track that I'm going to be doing my opening race in for MotoAmerica, which is awesome. But we started going there on the weekends, just having fun, hanging out with some of his buddies that he used to ride with. And then, I started getting hooked, and so we started getting bigger and better bikes, and it just kept going. And for the longest time, we thought, it's fun, it's cool. He's kind of fast in it. Maybe he'll go and do something. But I think it was about 3 years ago. I went to train in Georgia with a young man by the name of Josh Heron, who is well, he's one of my heroes, but he's a big name in MotoAmerica. Um, and I think my dad said that's the first time that he really saw, like potential for me to really go far in racing. So yeah, ever since then we've been putting all we have into racing and trying to get out and make all the races that we could. And this year, last year, um, COVID kind of helped us out and grouped a bunch of races together. And so we were able to get tons of ride time, and I improved a lot. And I was able to go talk to teams, and then I got the call from Arcon, my race team, that so now I messed around and made it in MotoAmerica. So yeah, it's there's not enough time in the world to go through all the stuff that me and my dad have done for racing. It's been a huge journey. It's been awesome.
And we'll get into it a little bit, at least the Cliff Notes version of it. But racing is not just, you don't just get on a bike and race. You got to fix the bike. You got to, I mean, it's you're the pit crew and the racer and the coach and the all in one. And so that tell a little bit about that process, because it's not just, hey, let's suit up and go race a bike.
Oh, I wish it was, but it's got to be 2% racing. There is nowhere near as much riding as there is talking to people, working on your bikes, buying things, which is the worst part. But yeah, I've actually had to talk about this a lot. People think, I just show up to the racetrack and ride the bike, but that's so little of what I do. Me and my dad, when we're at the racetrack, we're either maintaining our bikes if we're riding our personal bikes, or we're talking to people. Like all last year, at the end of last year, we really started putting, a lot of work and reaching out to companies, and we still are. But I mean, I could probably spend half of the day just messaging people on LinkedIn, like you said, just like saying, hi, would you be interested in this, or would you? I would be interested in helping promote your company with this, and blah blah blah. And like my dad has a lot of stuff with emails, and we're just constantly, hammering off emails and texts. It's crazy.
No, you're doing a great job on LinkedIn and social media, you're doing a great job for whoever it would be. But the fact that you're 13 and you're juggling all this, it's a lot. So even just to get to this point where you are, this weekend is a huge accomplishment. And everything you're doing is just, working towards making it better and getting on a bigger stage it's just really about opportunity, it sounds like. So let's talk about that opportunity. Racing is essentially, and I'm reading a book called Stand by Catherine. She was a racer, a cyclist. And it's a very similar story in the sense that people would be happy to bring you on their team, but essentially you're paying for your own way through it, right? So she was working like 2 jobs. She was a graduate. She wasn't 13 years old, which I think technically you can't even work, right? You can't technically.
Yeah, I can't work till I'm 14. We've had that conversation.
So I know you do it. You do it. So, it sounds like you guys were headed in the right direction, and then had some unfortunate things happen with some family stuff and some companies and stuff that backed down. You don't have to tell us everything. Just give us a little hint of what that is. And
so we were last year. I was doing really well in the club racing series called CCS, and we were getting companies starting to reach out to us, and I was starting to talk to more teams. And it was looking really good. And so one of the ways that we fund racing for just club stuff is we will, because I had, like I said, that company that we used to own, we had like 14 rental bikes, and those have lasted me up until about 2 years ago. And we had taken a couple of those bikes to trade in for a Suzuki GSX R1000 that we were going to kind of work on and then sell so I could go out and finish the season off. And so my dad was moving that bike to our shop from our house, which is just about 400 yards. And our dog ran out in front of him, and he killed the dog just on impact. But then when he fell, he ended up breaking his sternum, his collarbone, 7 ribs, I think, cracked or severe brain injury. He ended up getting about 13 minutes of CPR on the road, and then his heart stopped again when he actually got in the hospital, and he had to get the defibrillators. So it was an interesting year. So that's definitely put a damper on things, but it also kind of helped us out because he couldn't work after that. He just now started getting back into work, so it gave him a lot of time to focus on. I don't want to make it seem like I make him focus on racing, because he does a lot of that stuff just by habit now.
Yeah.
And so it gave him a lot of time to, reach out to people and really focus in on racing. So yeah, it was kind of a blessing and a curse. More of a curse than a blessing for sure. But
happy to be alive, lucky to be alive. We take those opportunities not for granted, because we never know what tomorrow is going to bring. I was talking to my friend Chad last weekend, and his son is about your age, very good baseball player. And he said, look, there's a good chance his kid's going to play, high level college. And he's like, I just want to be able to go tell my boss, hey, I'm going to watch my kid play wherever that is. I'll fly. And so, my dad was very supportive of us in basketball, and we weren't and had any near aspirations of being professional. But that's what parents do. A lot of parents, they're all in on their kid, and it's great. So definitely props to your dad for all that he's done, and even through all the bad stuff that has happened, keeping the eye on the prize here. So we are, Ticket Time Machine is going to be a big supporter of Keagan Brown, and we're going to do something where we give you a nice, a cool little looking ticket with your image on it, and on the back you'll sign it, and we'll start to do something to raise some money to help your racing season. And if you donate, we'll send you a card, a ticket, a signed ticket. So there'll be some other things. How does that work for you? I mean, you're in school, you're racing. How do you balance it? Do you need to have your parents' motivation? What drives you?
Yeah. It's definitely crazy. COVID actually helped us out a little bit, because all schools went pretty much all virtual, and my school was pretty much all virtual since the beginning of the year. We just now started going back, all of the days of the week. So that kind of helped me out, with racing and stuff, because I could actually be at the racetrack and still be doing my work and stuff. But then we went back to school, and that's definitely put a hurt on things. But we're constantly trying to work with our school, and I think we got some stuff figured out to where I can go and do these things. But also because I want to have a really good education. I have Plan B, C's, all the way to H, because I love working on my bikes and stuff. I've always wanted to be kind of a mechanical, that kind of deal. I don't know if I want to be with like a team or something in the future, or just kind of do my own thing. But I've always wanted to kind of go off and do my own thing with school, but also be able to live and do my dream with racing. So it's definitely a lot, and we're constantly figuring stuff out day by day. It's yeah, my parents are always by my side, helping me out though. I could not have done it without them.
Yeah, it takes a village. Everyone need, even the most successful people in your industry, in the racing world, they got a lot of help. They got people who believed in them. They had people who bet on them. I mean, that's really what it is. It's just saying, look, hopefully people watch this video and see you and your potential. Just having this conversation, you can tell. I think that you're going to be okay no matter what, regardless. But certainly need all the help that you can get. So we'll work on that after this weekend. Once you're officially 14, there's no racing in college, right? I mean, there's no car, there's no bike, none of that in college.
I'm not sure.
I don't think there is. I mean, there's no motor race, like even NASCAR. There's no. It's interesting how because the progression is you take a rec league, then you go to college, right, or high school, and you're in there, and then you go to college, and then you go pro. But these type of sports, it's just, man, you get training and do it on your own.
Yeah, it's its own thing. I wish there was kind of like a school of the racing or something I could go to, or a college, but there just isn't. What a lot of people do is, you start your kids really young, and if they make it, you kind of just pull them out. I don't want to name any names, but there's a couple people I know who just kind of graduated high school and went off. And I don't want to do that. I want to have that college education, but I think honestly, the only way to do it is kind of just find a way to work with your school or something so you can go off and do racing, but you got to focus on both. You're not gonna make it if you just focus on racing. I wish I could just focus on racing, but I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
there's so many online schools.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in, and this is 20 something years ago, a lot of my classes were on television, and so forget about online, but on television. So I think it could be fine with that respect. But look, there's people who are young and go turn pro, and it could work for them. You might find that in the next couple of years, this thing just goes wild, and you do. You're young, you do what you can when you can. It could be no different than a baseball player or a basketball player going doing their thing, and you know what? Go back to college whenever you want in the summers or during the off season or whatever. So if that ends up being what it is, that's a good thing because it means you did very well in what you're doing. But yeah, maybe you do that. Who knows? It's really weird to talk about this, right? Because you're driving this dangerous motorbike since you're, less than 10, and you guys live in Virginia, right?
We live in North Carolina. Yeah.
Carolina. All right, close enough. What's the age for driving a car in North Carolina?
16, I believe. Yeah.
So you can't drive a car, but you can drive around this motorcycle, which is probably twice as, at least 2 or 3 times as It's going to be weird when you do get your license. You drive a car because you drive your bike everywhere.
Yeah, I joke around with my sister all the time. I'm a better driver than her, and she's already has her license, and she's had it for about a year.
She can have you drive. You guys probably have a lot of land if you can let her drive you, let you drive the car when.
Oh yeah. I've driven since I was really little. I just sit in my dad's lap and drive a little bit. Of course, now I just drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that you can start racing so little or so young and then not be able to drive like that for forever. And it's kind of the same thing that kind of the same problem with some of the actual like actual riding series. Like I've been racing since I was 5, going on 6. And if we're right this second, if I wanted to go and ride with a different organization other than Evolve, which is my track day sponsor, so that's where I go to just to train, I wouldn't be able to because I'm not 16. And so like it's weird that the age limits and stuff.
And do you get a license? Do you have to actually take a test, or you just turn 14 and whoever wants a license can get it?
For MotoAmerica, I think you do have to have your racing license, which I think that I can't remember doing it. I think that's kind of just like an online thing where you sign up and get it. Yeah. But for a lot of the smaller race organizations and even track day organizations, you're gonna have to get like a certification, and you have to go through a class to make sure that you can actually go out there and ride safely, but also have fun.
Right, because it's dangerous. You don't just want anyone on this race. I mean, if I got on that race, it'd be terrible for everyone. Is it like horse racing where being slimmer and lean and not too tall is you don't see too many tall people or bigger?
Yeah, you definitely. And a good example is my dad. My dad rode for a long time before I was even born, and he never really thought about racing because he's always been a bigger dude. Like I know a lot of people that are over 6 foot that struggle because I'm 5'8", and already I'm having problems with like I have to stay really lean and light so I can have as much endurance as these little freaking kids that can beat me up. But yeah, you definitely want to be on the shorter end because it's going to be a lot easier for you, just like weight and like weight wise. A good example is Matthew Skoltz, who's a really accomplished racer in MotoAmerica. He's I believe like 6'2", and he's constantly having to stay lean and stay fit just so he can ride as fast as these other shorter dudes. You still have to stay fit. Like you're still gonna have to work out and have this set of like there's still gonna be a standard for like fitness to be fast and stay fast, but they're gonna have to work harder. It's hard to explain. Like I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it makes sense. What's your routine for training and healthy eating or what?
Well, for me, because I'm not really like on the verge of like teenager. I'm not really an adult yet. I don't have to worry that much about my diet. I obviously need to stay away from super fatty foods, and like I don't need to be eating all the time. But I do like average like core workouts and stuff like that, and I had a trainer that gave me some specific workouts for actual like riding purposes. So I do that every day, just stay on top of my diet. And yeah, because you don't want to be super like, you don't want to be a bodybuilder and race. You just want to, like, CrossFit is the best example I have. You just want to stay skinny and like you want to have as much endurance as you can.
You come there, they do CrossFit across the street from me in their garage. They got about 6 or 7 people every day, 5:30 in the afternoon. You come from CrossFit. My brother is actually training to do his first full Ironman, which is nuts. He's already done 4 halves, and that's that type of endurance is crazy. Did you play anything? What did you do growing up? Was it just bikes? Did you play any other sports?
Well, I mean, when I was little, I did what like every other little kid did. I played t-ball,
Yeah.
but my dad he's always been interested in racing and soccer because when he was in high school, he was a really good soccer player. And so he actually started a team in our little town called Rowdies, which is like you can see our Rowdies Racing because we used to everything used to be Rowdies. Um, but he actually had a team, and I played for that for a little bit. But soccer just wasn't really my thing. My sister came up through that program, and she's pretty good. And then she went the softball route. But yeah, I played soccer, t-ball. I just never really could get into it like I did racing.
Yeah. When you're racing, I was going to ask you about music. Are you allowed to listen to music or have someone in your ear? What's going on when you're racing?
Well, I'm not sure, like in MotoAmerica, if you're allowed to. I know pretty much anywhere else you could. A couple of years ago, those it's called Cena. It's a Bluetooth device that you put on your helmet where you could talk you back and forth. It's supposed to be back and forth with other riders, like you could be on a call while you're on the street. But a lot of kids would do would they have their parents with like a headset on, and they'd be talking to them while they're on the track. And I tried that, and I just couldn't stand it. Like I'd get so angry at my dad talking in my ear while I was riding.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess you could. I've never really tried listening to music like while riding. I don't really know. I'm sure in Moto America, I don't think they allow that type of thing. I'm not sure. I have to read through the rule book.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, if you don't do it now, you're not going to do it when you race. So
yeah,
it's hard for me to exercise without. I play basketball, yes, but when I walk or I need to either be listening to music or talking to someone. I guess I don't have to really concentrate the way that you do, so that's probably a little bit different. What is obviously the hat? Let's talk about what you're wearing in fashion in the biking world. Does your hat have any significance? Obviously, Go Fast, Don't Die is pretty good.
yeah. Yeah, so this is actually a company that wanted to help us out this year, which is awesome. They're a smaller company. Actually got a shirt on too.
Yeah.
Um, they're helping us out this year, which is awesome. I have a lot of smaller companies that I like working with, especially local companies, which Go Fast Won't Die isn't really local, but they're smaller and they're in the motorcycle industry, so it's awesome to help those little companies out. But another company that I work with that's smaller called Charlie Soap, they make shirts and stuff, and obviously their whole thing is based around soap. Yeah, yeah.
If you could, this is a question, we might as well put it out there. If you could sponsor anything, right? I mean, you wanted someone to sponsor you. Let's talk about from a product perspective, not from a racing. What would you like to pitch? Like, is it a drink? Is it clothing? Is it whatever, food, anything? It could be anything. Just go take your imagination, let it run wild. You can pick whatever you want to be a sponsor for you. What would you choose?
Man, I don't know. I think from like a perspective, probably I'd want a Kawasaki, like just the whole manufacturer company. Because if I could because that's like in my view, Kawasaki is like the best overall brand in racing right now. Because obviously there's bikes that are going to make more power, but they're never going to run as long. Like Kawasaki is dominating in Junior Cup right now and in Super Sport. And I think in a couple of years, maybe they'll have, all the different series, in lock. So yeah, I think if I had to choose any kind of product sponsor like that, I'd probably go with Kawasaki or any motorcycle brand.
My friend Brent, he likes adventure. His kid ride the golf carts, and then they got the scooters. Not the same, but they're small and they enjoy doing it. Kawasaki is probably a very household name. I mean, even I've heard of them before, and I'm not that knowledgeable about bikes. Do they sponsor riders, Kawasaki?
Yeah, you can definitely get to a point in racing where you could actually, have Kawasaki be with your name. But I'm not sure if there's anything like that right now in MotoAmerica, because just this last couple of years has, not been, actually this last year's been amazing for MotoAmerica, but before that it's kind of been struggling because it's just, so little people race like it over in Europe. Kids are on motorcycles for like when they're 3 months old. Over here, you can't even legally do it until you're 5. And
Right.
so, like, just that age limit hurts the racing community. Like, it's so that like over, it's so hard to explain. Just like everyone over there at least knows about motorcycle racing. If I went out right now, just outside of this hotel, and asked someone, they'd be so confused. Like, it's just that difference that makes all the difference. But yeah, well, America's growing though, so it should be really interesting.
Okay, you're someone who could come in and turn this whole thing upside down and help it grow. So that's good. That's why it's exciting for you. It should be exciting for them. I think you have some interviews. They got some interviews for you today or this weekend.
Yeah, I think I actually have an interview with one of the MotoAmerica guys this evening. I'm not sure.
Scheduling's not important. That's what Dad takes care of.
Yeah.
But obviously you're on their radar, so that's always a good thing and known. And maybe are there rankings where you're at?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Obviously, there's like the championship standings, like,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if there's kind of like a fan ranking thing that they'll do. I don't know. I know they're doing a lot more this year with like fan stuff, and I was just at a fan event yesterday where I did some talking, some giving away and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not sure if there will be some kind of like rider ranking in the future.
How many people show up to these races to watch?
Well, last year, since COVID and everything, obviously a lot of tracks weren't allowing, but I know their numbers are getting really, really up there. Um, and I don't know right off the top of my head what those numbers are, but I think they're on the road to getting like NASCAR numbers. I think because their viewers right now, they have an app called MotoAmerica Live Plus, which is a subscription, where you can watch all the races and the qualifying, all that stuff live. But it's also got some of their like little TV stuff that they do, and I think they're getting constantly over 1 million viewers on that platform, which is amazing, and I hope it keeps growing because I know way back before I was born, when it was just AMA, their numbers were insane. And my dad always tells us stories about how they'd be backed out of the roads and out of the parking lots for the line. Yeah, but they're growing constantly, and it's amazing to see how far they've come just in the last couple of years, viewership wise.
Do you ever just race people just for the hell of it? I mean, like you say, is that other people who are either in Moto America or just like, hey, let's go out and race? Like I played basketball one-on-one with my brother yesterday. Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely, because like the club stuff, that's pretty much for fun. Um, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why we ride is because it's fun. So
Yeah.
like, if there's an opportunity to go and race someone, I'm definitely gonna try to do it. Yeah.
So you're getting your start this year, and what's the ultimate goal? It's just to get to that highest level.
Yeah, I think obviously like my ultimate goal and my all-time dream would be to get to the world stage and like have my name be one of those like kids will tell stories about Keagan Brown. Like obviously that's my dream, but like my goal is just to come up through the ranks in MotoAmerica and have my name just be out there in the U.S. Like one of my all-time heroes is his name is Josh Aaron is a really good example. He went over to Europe like once, and he didn't really do well. He did all right, but he didn't do well, so he came back over. But everybody knows Josh, and everyone wants to ride with Josh because he's really likable and he's a really fast guy. And that's just what I want. I want to have kind of that success in America. I honestly don't really care if I go over to the U.S. I want to have my own sort of personality in America. Yeah. because one of the things I've always talked about doing eventually, if I can, is once I'm at the top level, I want to help kids like that, like me, come up, because it's really confusing if you do it on your own. Like we learned so much the last couple of years, just like business wise, trying to get everything funded. It's crazy. So I want to start, I guess you call it academy, just helping kids learn writing wise, but also help them out with talking to people and stuff like that. Because that was one of the main struggles I had, was just you have, like, whenever I'm at a racetrack, I have to be shaking people's hands and constantly meeting new people so I can have, better opportunities in the future. So yeah, I think my main goal was become kind of like get my name out in the US and then be able to help kids like me come up and have that same goal. Yeah.
I think it could be, I think you could do that whether you get to the top or not. But certainly getting to the top would be best. Is it like NASCAR where you can sell every inch of your body on your helmet and your bike and your outfit? Or
I mean, I think so. If you're on your own and you're not with a team, you can definitely, control whatever you want on your bike and stuff. But the guy who owns my team, his name's Colin Barton. He's an Irish fella. He's really interesting. He wants his logo to be very visible. So like,
where?
don't
What's the
put a
best
sticker
way?
on that logo or else.
What's the best
Yeah,
spot? If you could pick one spot, is it the helmet? Is it the bike? Is it your arm?
I think the best way to get like promotional value for a company or something like would be probably on the bike. Because the helmet and stuff, that's cool and all, but you're never going to see as much as me as you are the bike. Like
Yeah.
whenever you're watching something, you're not watching the driver, you're watching the car, and it's the same thing for bikes. I think, yeah. So I think the best place to put a company or just a sticker or whatever would be on the bike, kind of just on the side anywhere. Yeah.
And you're going to start this season number 73.
Yep, number 73 this year, and hopefully for future years until I can get that number one plate.
Is that's the one everyone looks for, the number one plate? Someone has to retire. I mean, it's like a team. Even if you're not on the team, you can only have one number per racer.
Yeah. So I think in Junior Cup you have to win the championship to get number one.
Okay.
But I don't know how it works, like how you can keep it. I don't know if you only get it for a year or if you get it until someone else wins the championship. I'm not sure. Not sure. I'll plan on learning that this year.
There's going to be a lot of on-the-job training and learning, which is good.
Yeah.
You seem to know a lot about a lot of things already, which is good. And you got your dad in your corner who's got the background, so that's also helpful. And I think as you start to succeed, there's going to be people who are going to want to latch on and help and be a part of your journey. Tell everybody where you got 73, because we were talking about your number situation earlier. But so how'd you come up with 73?
Yeah, so I wish I had like a really cool story, but I don't. I just this year someone already took the number 56, which was my number last year. Which that wasn't even like that was a last minute change. For almost 5 years, I ran 17, which is the number of one of my heroes, Miguel Duhamel. He did some stuff over in Europe, but was a really big name in the U.S. But then I had to change it to 56 for the bigger club races. And then this year, we find out that 56 and 17 is taken. So I just combined them and moved on. So, yeah, I wish there was like a really cool story.
Yeah, 17 is a great story.
Yeah.
If you could pick up any number right now, aside from one, with the significance of being number one, would 17 be your number?
Oh yeah. I definitely have like a lot of nostalgia just from wearing that number as a younger kid.
Is he still racing?
I'm not sure. I know that he's older now. He was big like in the early 2000s and late 90s, but I'm not sure. I'm sure he still rides, but racing wise, I don't think he does much anymore.
Yeah, what's the window? If you had to guess, what's the average age, and when is it like you're an old fogey?
I think the like average lifespan of like really racing and being professional in the US would be from about 16 or so to like 25.
Okay.
It's a really short window. And that's why Josh Heron, I hate to keep saying his name, but
Oh, keep it.
that's why people love him. I think he's in his mid 30s now.
Okay.
And, statistically, there's no way that man should still be racing. Like, he's had ups and downs that would put any other dude, like, out of the sport. But people like him so much, and he's got so much drive, and he's a really smart guy that he's just stayed in it. And this year, he's got a factory ride. And so I think he's going to go out and do really well again, which is awesome. So,
Good.
yeah, like, yeah, I wish that, and another name that I bring up in this topic is Valentino Rossi. He's like everyone that's ever raced anything or a motorcycle knows Valentino Rossi. I think he's 43, and he is still in the top. He's in the World Series, and he's been there since 2000, I think. And
Wow.
he's the last person in MotoGP right now that's ever raced the 500s, which is that was the fastest bike before what they have now. So yeah, it's crazy. I wish the window was longer than that, but it is what it is,
Look, it's enough time to do a lot of things good for you and for the sport. And then, just because you stop racing doesn't mean you stop being a big part of the sport. As you say, you're talking about people. What's a collectible? I mean, as you're growing up and you idolize these racers, what do you have? You have posters, shirts, trading cards. What do you have? What's your favorite?
Yeah, so obviously when I was little, I'd go to the MotoAmerica rounds and be in awe, and you could go around and get posters signed. So I think I probably have 200 posters
Oh, wow.
of just random people that used to race. And I actually went back a couple weeks ago and looked through and saw all these little kids that are now big names, like Ashton Yates is he's a kid that I used to ride with. I have a poster of him from back in the day, and now he's racing in super stock, which is another really big class in MotoAmerica, and he's doing really well. And it's just a bunch of these little names that I used to think were really cool, and like now they're huge names, and now they're like, so yeah, the little posters and stuff, like shirts and stuff. Not that's what I want to do. Like I was just at that fan event yesterday, and I gave out 2 T-shirts and a couple like tickets to the actual Moto America event this weekend to some little kids, which is awesome. Yeah, so
The video that was cool. You split them up and
yeah,
some people, which is good.
I actually didn't mean to do that.
That's all right. It's good, and we'll get more people in. That's smart. More people in, the more fans you get. They probably were going to go in anyway, since they're there. Maybe they have a family member. Is your dad back in the room?
No, he's still on a
I
phone.
wanted to bring him on for a second, just to introduce him to everyone and let everyone see how much great he's doing.
Yeah.
Have you met these guys? I mean, you're hanging out with all these people when you're on the track, and so it's kind of just like everyone's there, almost like NASCAR. Everyone goes to the same thing, and you're kind of like hanging out.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of the people that I looked up to, which is awesome. And I actually know I'm actually pretty good friends with a lot of the people that I used to like think were the best and so awesome. But yeah, like a lot of the racers when they go to these types of events, we just hang out, like because I mean we all do the same thing. Like we all wake up in the morning and knock out our exercise, eat our diet, and then go and ride. That's what we all do. So yeah, my dad actually just walked to the room.
Yeah, bring him on for a second. I want to. Everyone, this is Bill Brown. Come on in. We're gonna say hi for a second, Bill.
Hey guys.
Keagan's dad, and he's doing a hell of a job supporting his son and helping him get where he needs to be. And so we just wanted to give you a little props for that, and
Well, thank you.
appreciate everything that you do. And I know he does. I can hear it in his voice as he talks about it. We're all grateful that you're around and doing well and better and going to get where we need to go. Yeah. Anything you want to talk about with Keagan growing up and you introducing him to him, something that's a bond. Obviously, it was big in your life and now in his. Obviously, got to be a special bond for a parent and a kid.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you guys have covered. Unfortunately, I was on a couple of calls of my own this morning related to my accident back last year. But I mean, for me and for Keagan, this did not start off as a pursuit to be a professional racer.
Yeah.
I think that we just wanted to help him be better in school and give him honestly give his mom and I a something to hold over his head to do this or don't go riding, that sort of thing.
Eat your vegetables if you want your dessert.
Exactly, and then it's just taken off. But I tell you, just fundamentally, the thing that I am most grateful for with this opportunity for him to race and ride is that there's not another. I have an older daughter as well who plays softball, and we travel a little bit with softball. Like we went to, maybe a state away or something like that. So there's a couple hours in the car, with some great family time. But Keagan and I have been from coast to coast and border to border and have hundreds, if not thousands of hours of windshield time, just he and I. And the conversations that we've had, there's nothing to replace that.
I know how it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Priceless.
So super grateful for that time, and I think we have. I don't think there's any others. I'm sure there's other sports where dads and their players or their kids get to hang out quite a bit. But I mean, for us, that's been the biggest thing for me. There's just no other way to explain it.
The car time. There's a lot of other sports like my friends with their baseball kids, but they travel a little bit and there are a lot of games. But yeah, they're playing a lot. There's not a lot of, hey, it's going to take us 8 hours to get from this location to that location, and then hanging out. Obviously, as he gets older, he might be able to hang out on his own, and with his friends, and it'll be a little bit different. But it's still you'll be there. How did you get into racing? Because you talked about you having a lot of experience with it.
Well, my motorcycle days started before I was born. Both my parents rode motorcycles, and growing up in a household myself where my dad, my uncles, they all hung out constantly. In the days before the internet and even caller ID, you had to actually go see people if you remember that. So my family was pretty close, and motorcycles were kind of the ties that bound our family. So I was always around motorcycles and power sports, and
but those were like, are you talking Harley Davidsons or you're talking about race bikes?
No, contrary to my big fluffy beard, it was never motorcycle, never HD. It was always Kawasaki and Suzuki and Japanese sport bikes, and so none of those guys raced. It was all recreational and transportation. It was just a great sport and a great hobby for them. So. Again, going back to those days in the late 70s and early 80s, before the X Games, before even really ESPN, the only way to be in the know was to be in the know. So I rode dirt bikes and was fortunate enough to do some training and stuff with that. But then flash forward a bunch of years and I'm off to college and I had to work. I didn't have, the free ride to school. So I was looking for a cool job. And I ended up at a motorcycle dealership, and the parts manager there was a young man who did track days and some club racing, and he introduced me to that scene. And I did some club racing and some track day stuff, but never did I expect that I would ever try to be professional at it. It was just fun, and so Keagan. My daughter Addie comes along, Keagan comes along, and I'm working in the industry and thought to myself, hey, let's make sure that these kids get to have the fun that I did just riding, and it's fantastic. It's athletic. It's fun. You can teach responsibility with it, taking care of the machines. You can. I mean, there's just so many lessons in a motorcycle.
And business. I mean, you guys you're doing the business. How do you guys learn that? Because you're both involved in the business side of it. Obviously, Bill, you have a bigger part of the business side in a way because you're got to make some decisions, and Keagan's doing a great job with his part, and it's only going to get better. I think as success is going to breed success, and people want to be around people who are successful and good. And so, how'd you guys learn? I mean, it's a lot of we talked about a lot of on-the-job training. Is there anything that's helped you along the way?
Well, learning, it has been a crash course. We never I never expected to be in the situation where we were talking to CEOs and marketing managers or directors, or insert your title here. I never expected to be in a position revolving around motorcycle racing that would require those types of conversations at that level. And it was a hell of a learning curve, because originally when it came to, I think a couple of years ago, when we started thinking about sponsors, because this really started getting expensive, the higher up he went, what we would do is we would like, hey, yeah, this is a cool brand. We like this company. Let's go to their website, and we shoot over our little PDF resume to the info at insert your company here. And there's only 3 possible outcomes. Someone there likes you because they saw it and they think it's neat, and they do actually forward it to someone that matters. Or the other 2 processes, or the other 2 outcomes, which are more typical, which is it goes nowhere, or some intern who answers emails just chucks it and you're no more. We made zero headway with that.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
Yeah. And so we asked around. I mean, all you could do was ask around, and we finally found some folks that would share with us the types of people and the types of positions that we needed to communicate with. And that's when I told Keagan, I was like, look, you need to be somewhere where we can get a hold of these types of people. And that's when he started his LinkedIn account. Yeah. And
it's really impressive to be on LinkedIn, because I know people who are CEOs and big, C-level and all these directors, and they don't have a network there. They're just on there, and they're not. It's very good right now. LinkedIn is extremely good right now. It's how we got connected. I just saw someone and saw a posting. But I mentioned earlier, we're gonna put together some programs to raise some donations and give some cool gear out for people who do help. We're gonna get you out of here on the same question we do. But before we do that, tell everybody where they can find information, how they can get in touch with you, and give some plugs to the people who've been helpful to you. Go Fast, Don't Die with the shirt and hat, and anyone else you want to give a shout out to.
Yeah, so you can find us at Keagan Brown Racing pretty much anywhere, except for Twitter. We've dabbled our feet in that a little bit, but hasn't really. It's confusing. Twitter's like a different world. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of those, or even YouTube, Keagan Brown Racing, you can find us. Go Fast, Don't Die is helping us out. Bison Track Gear is my leather company. They're doing great. Barcon Racing, their sponsors, Coastal, Neural, and Spine, K-Tech Suspension. Mike, my mechanics, really had to step up this year, and he's doing an amazing job. Forma Boots, LS2.
Phil Amendola from LS2. Yeah. They helped us out tremendously.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never forget who believes in you at the beginning and wants to, bet on you. I have people that I have had good relationship with to start, and they'll they'll be. I'll be forever grateful for them. And you're just starting here, so we're going to help you get where you need to go as best we can here. We're very impressed with what you're doing, and think you'll be doing some great things. So keep an eye out. Follow Keagan on all of them so you can see what we have in store for Keagan and his fans and anyone who wants to support him to get to where he wants to go. And we'll let you out of here with the same question that we let everyone go with. You can meet anybody you want and hang out with them for a whole day, 24 hours. You have to be alive, and you can't be related to them. Who are you? And you can't really know them yet. You can't have hung out with them already because that defeats the purpose. But who would you pick, and what would you like to do? What would you do with them? And we're going to put it on the list, and we're going to do our best to make it happen for somebody. And Bill, we're going to let you pick someone too, just because you're in here.
Nice. That's a tough one.
It could be racing. It could be not racing. It could be movies, sports.
I think I'd take Elon Musk to the racetrack and find a way to get him convinced to ride.
Elon Musk. I think he's busy flying spaceships and stuff, but he likes fast vehicles. So Elon, I can't remember. I think we have someone with Elon Musk on the list, but we're going to put him on the list. Man, that would be something. I'd have to get way up past where I ever expect to go to make that happen. But we're going to try. Bill, give us a name.
I had heard Elon Musk didn't like motorcycles, but
really?
Yeah, I don't know, but I could be wrong. For me, at this point in my life, with the things that I know and the things that I don't know, I would like very much to sit down with a guy like Gary Vee. Or one of those types of folks that could help me to, first of all, be as brash and ballsy as he is to speak to some of these people the way that he does, but also just to kind of better understand what it is that these companies and these folks are looking for. How we can add value and return on their investment and we genuinely want to do things differently than racers before us, because the industry is changing, and it's time for someone young like Keagan to come along and turn it on its head and change it. So influencers and people like that are people that I love to meet.
Gary V's on the list. We have here at Ticket Time Machine, we have a love and hate relationship with Gary V. We've actually emailed back and forth, had a little bit of beef on Twitter. But he's on the list. I'm going to send him this episode and see what happens. There's no playbook for any of this. They're just he's doing what he's got to do.
Yeah,
be personable. Give people credit. Just start talking about everyone. Put it out in the world. Hey, I want to work with you. Put it out in the world and let the other people do the work for you, because someone might know someone there or be there. He wants to know who Gary V is. Brent doesn't know. If it's not fishing or gators, he doesn't know anything about it. But yeah, so we're going to send this to Gary V. He's on the list. That's probably not the hardest one that we've encountered. But keep doing what you're doing. Keep giving shout outs to the people who are supporting you, and just keep putting content. That's something Gary Vee would tell you. Just keep putting content. Get your face out there. Get annoying to people without being annoying to them, where they remember Keagan Brown, and they will once you start racing too. They're going to know who you are, and you're going to give them plenty of reasons to want to jump on board. And it's never too late to jump on the train. I thank you for joining us today. I want to give you an early happy birthday. I don't know if Bill, I don't think I told you this, but my birthday is on Sunday too. I don't know if I told you that. Yeah. So happy early birthday. I hope all your wishes come true. We're going to do what we can to have it. Have a great race weekend in Atlanta with MotoAmerica. Have fun with the interviews, and we'll be in touch and get some of your stuff out there soon to get some more visibility. Awesome. And that's it. Anything else?
No, thank you for anything. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we got a major dinner. We're celebrating with some friends for dinner tonight. So do some good celebrating and enjoy the ride, pun intended. And we look forward to seeing you everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Got some great Wolff Den guest next week, and Win Again Academy has Tamir Goodman on Tuesday. Check out winagainacademy.com. Check out KeaganBrownRacing.com. Everywhere, Rowdy's Racing. Go fast, don't die. If you know someone at Kawasaki, tell them they need to be all over this kid.
Yeah.
See you next week. Have a great one.
Thanks, man.